I guess. Jeremiah. Yeah. One. Give me the chance.
Call the meeting to order, November 2nd, 2015, 9 a.m. Management Committee.
There you go. Back to
Crow. Sure.
Here.
Grunwald. Alt.
Here.
Kasbargen.
Here.
Joyce.
Yep.
Barron.
Yes. Okay, are there any public comments? Adam's here.
There's another.
Any public comments, Adam? Okay, we will move to county farm management issues. I guess we got the soil test in. Maybe got a copy of it there. Wherever. That's just one copy of it. Now, Donna, you had a chance to look at it a little bit.
I opened your email and I didn't get to print it out because my printer died right in the middle of printing it. So I need to see this in total.
Okay.
It looked to me like it said it needed some potash, some zinc, and some copper, and some DAP.
Well, while you guys are looking at that, we can discuss the waterway issue a little bit.
There. I was just talking about it. I think.
I talked to Thad, yeah, about, you said you guys could maybe just go in and scrape it, and he said that would probably work for a few years and would be a whole lot cheaper than if he had to design it and everything.
Yep.
The one thing he said is because of the way it is, the waterway goes part way across and then just kind of spreads the water over the field. We cannot go and dump it specifically in a spot on somebody else's field. So
You have to follow kind of the natural flow of the land, not interfere with that. We do have a road and scraper where we could spend probably a half day to 3/4 of a day and shape that up, and we'll have that controlled and should make it a lot better condition for the farm. It'll help us out too. And we thought part of farming, we do that on some other landlords, won't take us long. We get a chance, if weather cooperates here, we can jump in and do that. Won't be any cost to the county.
well, what does everybody think?
Well, my questions are, do we have to, when you scrape it, do you have to go to a certain angle, a certain degree of angle for flow, and how do we determine that?
You just kind of follow the natural flow and lay of the land, and then we'll, because right now it looks like it's just cutting through and making its own and doing some wash, where this way if it's, you just follow that, we won't increase the slope any, but it will shape it and then keep it from just rutting and eroding where it's kind of free to go. And then we can take and spread the dirt out lightly and evenly in areas that are a little low. And like I say, main thing is not interfere with the natural flow of the water. If you run into issues, just a matter of shaping it up and helping it control instead of just kind of running everywhere. One thing we'll get in shape too is Walter's really rutted that up real bad this year with the sprayer. Anybody's looked at it and get that all in shape as well. We were over kind of looking at it. The folks with the soil lab got out there real quick after the crop was off, and then we went out and took a mower and tractor, just kind of went around it just to make it look a little better and shape it up for the winter. But
The waterway you're talking about?
a little bit there, and then the outside edges of the farm, just where weeds grew up, and what they do with the crop there. Then after the crop's out, just kind of go and touch it up. We had a tractor over here, probably maybe a day, just for appearance, to make everything look better, and to keep things under control. Just kind of taking care of the ground, per se. If I straighten a little bit, yes, the waterway, just to shape it and not to increase the slope anywhere, just go with the natural flow of the land.
Is that a grass waterway now?
No, it's, well, there's a little bit of weeds, grass, it's just kind of wash, it's kind of rutted through there right now, it's not too much.
So if you scrape it, are you gonna overseed it with something to hold some root structure down on
Yeah,
it?
it's usually to throw some, especially throw a little weed or something on it to get, or else to get something to grow up quickly that will over winter. Want to get something, try to get something established.
Anybody else got questions?
It can't be oats this late.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, the oats winter kill. It needs to be like winter rye or wheat, like you said, if we're planning on doing it this fall.
well, I guess.
A lot of people, a lot of guys put straw down too. Because right now we're late enough, it's to get anything really established, even winter rye or wheat, unless it stays warm here for a couple more weeks.
Right, have to be done quick. That's what we thought by the time if we did something and if you bid it out and all, then all of a sudden it's too late to do it.
It'll be winter.
And maybe
Yeah,
this week.
if we went through them down there, he was saying it'd be spring.
Yes,
And then we wouldn't be able to do it then because it'd be muddy and
right.
And if you do it through them, then you are gonna have certain slopes, you know, you're gonna be out there surveying it and making sure it's exactly perfect. So, I guess we just need somebody to make a motion as to which way we wanna go. Whether we wanna let them proceed, or if we wanna go through Thad and have him.
I don't think we got a choice with winter breathing down on that. I don't think you should leave it go till spring. I'll make a motion that we go ahead and let them deal with it.
So who's going to be paying for the seed and stuff like that? What's the...
Later we're looking at just minimum.
I know it's not going to be much, I'm just...
Did you say, what'd you say about taking care of that? I didn't catch it.
Oh, I'm sorry, if we can take care of that, you're looking at real minimal. You know, like I say, if you throw a little straw on it or a little bit of a seed, depends what this weather like is gonna be. There, if we had a chance, might be able to get over here this week and do it before this rain at the end of the week. It's gonna be nice to maybe get something a little established, have it up. Like I say, it'd be great to take care of it before we wait till spring, then you get the heavy rains, it's just gonna keep getting worse, and then may not even allow it to be done in the spring, you just never know.
We did put money in the line item for the waterway though, didn't we?
Yes.
Okay.
A second motion, let them handle it.
Okay. Any further discussion now that it's officially seconded?
We don't know what the cost is gonna be though? Is that what we're saying?
We'll be out there
Email
less than a day, but we'll take care of that, and then
Make sure that
see,
you've got your own.
we can take care of that, or
Thank you.
if you have some funds you have allocated and want to get away, we won't turn money away.
This one's coming in bits and pieces.
You're looking at like
$100 or $200 in seed, and ultimately go a long ways. Maybe not even that, you know, it wouldn't take much.
So I guess as part of the motion, if you would want to say, if they take care of the labor, we take care of the seed.
What are you saying for seed?
I'm sorry?
How much did you say for seed?
I think a couple $100 would go a long way.
I mean, if you want to include that in your motion, if you don't, then
Yeah.
I second motion to say that we add $200 for seed and straw for this project.
okay. So you're amending his motion?
That's right.
Quit ending me.
I don't know if we can do that.
Why not?
You can.
I
you
think
can-
he has to amend his motion.
No,
he doesn't.
no.
Anybody
Somebody
can
else could amend his
somebody else's
motion.
Thank you.
I'll second his amendment, then he's right. I mean, if you guys are gonna do the labor, I don't see a problem with the seed. I think I'd want to make sure you get enough down to get some root structure there to hold that one spring, once the thaw hits.
Yep, that's right.
I mean, you want enough seed on the ground where germination rate and root structure is gonna stop some of that erosion.
Yes.
So I'll, if I need a second to his amendment to the motion to whoever.
Okay, so, correct me if I'm wrong, but first we vote on the amendment, and then we vote on the full. So, we're voting on the amendment to include approximately $200
In seed,
for seeding,
and they'll take care of the labor.
and they'll take care, well, that's your motion. Well, no, I guess that is, yes, and they'll take care of it, so, yeah, and we're spending money.
Crow,
Yeah.
Sure,
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Hasbargen.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Sharon.
Yeah. Okay, now, on the original motion to let them do the project, I guess, may as well do a roll
Yeah, I mean,
call.
there's
Okay.
one. and-
Crow.
I mean, it's
Sure,
Yes.
Zumwalt.
yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Hasbargen.
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Sharon.
Yeah. I guess you got to go ahead. Well, I guess technically not till next Tuesday, but, because it's official after the board meeting. So, I guess if you go out there and scrape it, nobody can complain. The only thing would be if somebody said, no, we're not going to pay you.
No problem.
So,
This goes with that.
all right. Everybody had a chance to kind of look at the soil test? I guess, from what you see on the soil test, what do you,
It's not too bad. The acid that he was in real good shape, so where it didn't need any lime. The figures on what they recommended here to bring it up to par, where it ought to be, are levels that can all be put on this fall. I don't see anything too high to put on now, as far as it's not something that would need over a couple of years application. And then the way my understanding of it was, and I gave them a quick call when I talked to Don over there, these are what it takes to bring it up to where it should be prior to the 16 crop. And then we'll put on what we need for the crop, to cover the crop needs. Their figures that they use are actually slightly lower than what we do, but they have their formulation and really specify to the specific soil type, which is real good. It doesn't look too bad. And one thing I did want to ask, it's a little vague in the contract, but I'm assuming our general consensus was an understanding, so this is what the board would take care of. And
We
then
pay
it's
for the
our
fertilizer.
responsibility from here on for the 16 crop. This is what it needs to bring it up prior to the 16 crop.
how does that work in Edo?
They pay for all the fertilizers. We get the bids, and then they pay us.
The way it's worked in the past is the county pays the bill, and when it's put on and ensures it gets put on, and then we give the bill to the lessee, who reimburses us by March 1st. I think that's the way the contract reads, that fertilizer has to be reimbursed by March 1st.
Have to double check, but really these are levels that's too low prior to our leaks. This is to bring it up to where it should be before 216 crop. Well, really, it's, for example, where Walker's were a little light what they put on, and it's dragging, it's prior to our.
See, that was, the thing is, Walkers weren't putting it on, we were putting it on. That was the whole point of doing it that way, so we couldn't blame them or anybody for not putting enough on, because we were the one main, you know. Now, what happened during the year and stuff like that, we can't control, but that kind of was the idea of the past.
Well, we'll do whatever we need to do, but this is asking us to cover what's been lacking prior to our involvement.
Well, I think anybody that bid on the rental of the farm takes farm in the condition they get it in, according to the contract that says you pay for the fertilizer.
How often do we do soil tests?
We do it every 2 years. Some people do it three, some 4.
Yeah.
So we do it with each contract, right?
Basically.
And the reason for doing it then, at the beginning of the contract, is?
Was to know what, if it's insufficient in something, we need to add. But we need to look at the contract verbatim, you know, to see what it really says. You know, I understand what he's saying, but we just mainly have to go with how the contract states. Now, see, this would be the second time we've done this. You know, prior to this, in other words, we haven't come across this yet, because in our prior statement or prior thing, when Walker first rented it under this contract, with this deal in the contract, we brought it up to it. That was at that point, but from then on, it was supposed to be the tenant farmer that take care of it. So, but nobody really addressed this as a problem.
And I don't know,
It might even say that Walker was supposed to.
I don't know how this compares to how it was when the prior tenant.
We'd have to look at we have those records, we can look at them. What I'm saying is, we brought it up to a certain standard, the last contract, prior to the start, and then it was supposed to be maintained to that standard. Now, you might have a different standard what that standard is.
Sure.
Okay, so, but maybe we need to look at those numbers. You know what I'm saying?
To see how these figures compare with.
Correct. Yeah.
The priors.
In other words, if they're the same, they would bring them both back up to the same position they were when our last tenant had it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to go above and beyond it,
Do we have the last soil test results anywhere?
yeah, they're in the right.
And maybe what we need to do to avoid this is, in the third year of the contract, do the soil test so that whoever has it at that point makes sure it gets up to where it needs to be before the contract goes to bid.
Have we monitored what they put on in their last year? Tendency would be to slack off on the last year
Well, see,
or rebid
But
them.
that's why we're supposed to be,
we've been doing it. It's been up to us.
but I guess if we aren't doing a soil test, we don't know for sure what the crop is used.
You know what he put on by his skip there.
Well, we had Van Horn there, I think. Van Horn had the contract.
I believe so. People want to read, that's what,
Are you, is that the current contract?
I believe so, yes.
I have the 2012 contract with Walker that says that the lessor will pay to perform soil tests in the fall of 2012, so that would have been 3 years ago. I'm sure we did that then.
Yes, we did. And then the fertilizer was put on November the 12th of 2012 at a cost of $58,000, which we paid, and then they sent us a check on February 28th of 2014 to pay for that fertilizer that was put on in November.
Dennis, may I, Lyle, or is there any point in me reading what they said in this contract about?
If you want, go ahead.
Okay. Leslie agrees that the use and application of any fertilizer outside of the normal commercially available channels of commerce must receive prior approval from the Iroquois County Management. Lesser will solicit fertilizer and limestone bids from Iroquois County suppliers who will variable rate the product on the field based on GPS. Lessee has the right to add fertilizer at the lessee's expense but not subtract from it. Then it gives the 3 dates that they will pay the 1/3 of the limestone and 100% March 1, March 1, March 1. Any fertilizer or limestone or associated application costs not paid by the lessee by the dates referenced will make the contract void. So I'm thinking in terms of if we were custom farming, well, never mind. I'll change it.
Adam's got the last one. I don't know.
Second.
I'm not, I didn't look at why they're different numbers on the front.
You want the last page?
Well, that one, the page is important. Of course, they write it differently.
I know. It's hard to compare.
We need to change that in tons.
Oh, well, you go right ahead and do it.
Well, see, you need to lime then, so we limed it.
Right. That was low, it seems to me, just remembering.
This is just on this step, too. Really? I don't know, we gotta find farm numbers now. Not necessarily that easy. As long as they don't have the same numbers. The problem is they get footed totals, so those ones down. We had 2 different soil samples, so they're not the same at
Right.
all. I mean, the way they did it, the way they put their samples in.
So it's going to be hard to compare.
You can't just look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going total product. Actually, this is a lot worse. According to this one, if I'm reading this one right.
So,
On like that, I'm just using one example.
so it actually has
It's
on
better
that
than,
one.
right, this soil test was better than this soil test.
Okay.
If I'm reading it right. And it, yeah, it,
So, I guess the important thing is we're not asking them to do above and beyond what previously done.
And not only that, I'm wondering if...
but even then, they, then it paid for it anyway,
Right.
Raw was in the that was in the bid letting,
Okay.
the terms of the contract.
Well, the contract was on.
And the other thing is if after they've taken their crop off next year, the question could be discussed, if the soil levels, if we did soil tests, theoretically, if we did soil tests again, that we might be in the same place because the crop would have used the nutrients, and we might need to, this might be like the normal wear and tear on the ground, that we need to replace these nutrients annually, and that's how the farming process goes, because the crop uses the nutrients
Right.
and they need replaced.
Well, I guess, how do we,
Okay,
how
simply
is it
our
determined?
intention as a board, when they designed that, was to have the tenant pay for the fertilizer.
Okay.
The only reason we took any care of anything, by originally the fertilizer company billing us so we knew what was going on. That was the intention. Now we have to look at how the contract is. I'm pretty sure that's how the contract is. That was the intention then.
Okay. Well, contract, where did it end up? I guess Charlie's got it right now. Let Adam read it.
It becomes more of a lawyer thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but you've dealt with more of those than anybody.
Here's the proof. But it says just what the old one says too,
Yeah.
in this part of it.
Okay, well, we just want to make
Lessee
sure.
will pay the fertilizer limestone application costs per year during the term as lease follows. March 1st, 2016, Lessee pays 1/3 of limestone and 100% of fertilizer bills. March 1st, 2017, same thing, and 18, same thing.
This application will be for the benefit of the 2016 crop anyway, so you're going to get the benefit of the money expended, the application.
Do we know what the yield was this year? Probably not.
I don't know, I've never heard.
Yeah, and they're probably not going to tell us at this
I
point.
doubt it.
Then it'll be a while till it gets reported till you have, whatever we're calling
If
it,
it's an honest number.
FSA.
One thing you may want to do, I may want to talk to Don over there with the soil test company and really go over with them what we're planning on for the crop. Make sure that he has included in this then what is needed then for that crop. I was under the impression, I don't think they did, so it may end up a little higher than this, is what's needed.
Well-
Just to bring it up to speed and not to allow for what 2016 crop's going to use.
It's not 250 bushel corn around.
No.
You cannot put it'd be a waste of money to put fertilizer out there for 250.
Oh, no.
I'm just
no,
saying,
but a target of maybe 175. Oh, so, and some of it not even that.
there might be a chunk that,
Yeah.
last year did not do that. I know it didn't do that. What I'm saying is, anybody can put a target rate in. Most of the time, the soil companies put an arbitrary, they look at the soil type and say, hey, this is 160 bushel corn. Yeah, you can grow 200 bushel corn on what they say is 160 bushel corn ground, but normally that's what you target your fertilizer out for. But, so it's kind of arbitrary number. If you say, well, I think we can grow 276 on it, but the soil testing company says they soil tested for 150.
So what I'm getting at, I want to confirm with Don, but I don't think they targeted anything.
That's why I don't know. Normally they write on there what your target yield
Yeah.
is.
And that's why I could find, that's why I asked them, that's why I think they just said, these are low, they ought to be brought up. It's not taking in what's required for the 2016 crop.
Well, why don't we check on what the target is? In the meantime, we can get the bids on the fertilizer, and then me, Donna, and Kyle can get with you as to what rate we want to apply.
Because it may need a little more than what this recommendation is. But I don't think they're taking into account for this 2016 crop.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll make it work.
Okay. We want everybody to be happy, but we got to follow the contract.
Yeah, but, well, see, no matter what, Like say they want to put more DAP down.
Well, it says in there if the tenant wants to
I
find
know,
more.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's still up to them, but even the old stuff, it's still up to them, the way the contract, in my opinion.
But what we'll bid for is according to our soil tests, right?
What we get bids on is per pound or per ton or whatever.
Right, right,
And
as
then-
recommended by the
What- Yeah.
soil tester. Because this is the page I was looking for, as I spoke with him earlier, just before the meeting, about the potash. This says 130 pounds, but that is 100 pounds potash, 15 pounds sulfur, 15 pounds zinc. Did you see that page? Does that matter at all?
No, that's okay.
Well, I'd like to, my opinion is that we should bring that, when we do the soil test and do a new contract, we should bring it to a certain level. The county should be responsible to bring it to that level. And then they're responsible to maintain it at that level until they finish.
Well,
But I don't know if
Yeah.
that's right or not.
well, that's not how the contract reads, and in theory, if each tenant keeps it at the level they're supposed to, then it should be there.
There's no bringing it up.
Right, that, the bringing it up should already have been done, and now we're just hopefully at a maintenance level. If it's done like it's supposed to be done, like it was intended for it to be done. Which is why we pay for the fertilizer, we order the fertilizer to make sure it's at the proper level. So, all right, I guess,
There's actually two ways to look at that. You also go by what was taken off by the last crop. That's the most important one.
yeah. But that's
Well,
something that,
here's the thing.
That'd have to be put in a new contract then, wouldn't it, next time?
But you guys are overlooking something very simple. When you cash rent a farm, you have no guarantees to get anything, unless you have a really good... I mean, what I'm saying is, you can rent a piece of ground, it can be completely depleted by the last landowner. You know, that's why you shouldn't rent it for $400 an acre, you know. It's not always up to the tenant. I mean, it should be in a great world, but it's not, or not, you know, it's not that simple, you know, or we should bring it back up necessarily, because not everybody does it. So should we start doing that? Because that would change the bidding of it.
well,
Maybe somebody else would have bid more on it if they knew we were going to pay for it.
right. And I guess if we need to make changes, that's in 3 years when we do the contract. Right now, we gotta stick with the contract that we got. Just want to make sure that we are doing what the contract says.
We already had a motion to put
Out for bid.
the bids, yeah.
We probably didn't do that exactly right. We should have gone ahead and got the bid, since we're doing it per ton. That's how we're going to bid it. We could have had the bids here today, but that was a oversight or whatever. But on that subject,
So we need the motion to put it out for bids.
we've already had it put out. The motion's
Yeah,
already
it's
there
already-
to put it out for bid.
Like
The-
last meeting, or?
Yeah.
The question is, in the past, they have sent letters to all the different vendors instead of advertising. Do we want to do that again, or do we want to advertise it and put out letters, or how do we want to do
I think you gotta go by the bids you have already in. on
it?
price.
We don't have any bids yet, because we were going to wait for the soil test to come in before we put the bids out this week. And so we don't, it hasn't been advertised, there's been no letters
That's what I
sent.
said, yeah.
No, we voted to do it after the soil test came back. We should have just done it at the time.
In the past, we've sent letters and it's always worked, why should we just continue that?
Okay? That's-
Did we do both? We didn't put anything in the paper.
They said that, as far as they could tell, there was nothing put in the paper. So, I guess, somebody make a motion to make it official what we're gonna do.
Do you want to see the letter?
I think I've seen it in the past.
Okay.
Well, I guess,
So if we just send out the letters, they're only gonna go out to people who've been involved in the past.
In Iroquois
no,
County.
we've already had calls from some people, they'll get a letter, and then any vendor that we know of within the county will get a letter. So there are people that have been watching, knowing it's coming up, and they've already contacted, wanted to know, wanted to be contacted when we do it.
There's really not any new ones out there. There's less, not more, fertilizer companies out there. So.
I'm comfortable with what we've done, the letter to the Iroquois County vendor.
So
Is that an official, you want an
could you
official
put it in the
motion?
form of a motion?
Okay, I move that we continue the practice of sending letters inviting bids from Iroquois County fertilizer vendors.
I'll say.
Does that have to be limited to Iroquois County?
Anybody can do it. We're just sending letters out to those, because if you don't limit it, at some point, you're going to be sending them all over the place.
The
and where do you
contract
stop?
says Iroquois County.
Okay.
Probably shouldn't.
I guess, yeah. What do you consider Iroquois County if somebody that
County suppliers.
has multiple locations and the nearest one is just across in Indiana, but they have a location in, but,
Proximity.
Has anybody said anything in the past against it?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's not go looking for truth.
What's the total anticipated cost of it gonna be?
18,000.
$18,000?
Roughly 18,000.
Okay, because you said somewhere a year or so, a couple years ago, it was 58,000.
Yeah. It's a lot less. That's what I said.
at one point fertilizer really,
I mean, yeah, fertilizer changed price a little bit. But it really hasn't changed that much in the last 3 years.
Well, if there's gonna be more than 30,000, there could be an issue about publicly advertising. That's fine, would be.
And actually, see, we're not technically, we're paying for it, but then we're getting reimbursed by the tenant.
yeah.
No,
Well, we're soliciting the bid,
Yeah.
so,
the county buys.
If it's not over 30,000, I don't think there's a problem.
okay, so we have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call on it.
Crow?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes?
Zumwalt?
Yes.
All?
Yes.
Hasbargen?
Yes.
Joyce?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes. Okay. Does anybody else have any farm-related issues?
What about the tile on Route 1? Along Route 1?
I have not talked to Kyle recently about that. He was looking into what had to be done. I know with where it's at, I think it's either on or close to the state right-of-way, which means even if we fix it, we have to have permission to be on the property.
So in other words, there's no news on that.
Not at this time.
Are we sure it's our type?
Yes, because Thad said there are no drainage districts in that area, so there is no drainage district tile or anything, and it's,
Wouldn't have to be a drainage district, it'd be somebody else's time?
well, with the direction it flows, I guess from the way I understood it, with the direction it flows and stuff, that it is our tile. Now, I could be wrong, but that was my understanding.
I spoke with Kyle shortly about it. He was under the impression it was ours.
I mean, if it's not our tile and it's running across our property, there should be some place an agreement allowing that states who has to fix it. Now, where that would be filed, I would assume it's the clerk's office, but,
Well, somebody else paid to put it in, it's their tile.
well,
I don't think there'd have to be a file agreement anywhere.
well, there would have been something to let them cross the property, I would think.
There'll be something across it if they're draining their water,
Yeah.
so it'd be their tile.
Unless at any
I'm
point.
very
we tie
suspicious,
into
but I
it.
think it's somebody else's tile.
What happens if that piece of land got sold though?
That's why you want
I
written
guess you
agreements
block up
if you
the
allow
tile
it.
and go on. huh? No, it's
You
still part
could.
of the, it's still part of the sale. You bought it from somebody else to put in the tile. The guy selling it is going to advertise how it's drained.
Mhm.
Well, Kyle was looking into it, so,
I sent him a text to see if there's any update, doesn't mean we'll get an answer.
yeah.
See if he can respond.
Right, any other farm management issues? All right, then we will go on to, did you have any other questions?
No, appreciate it, we'll check it out, talk to Don, and they'll be in touch with you.
Okay,
Sounds good.
All right.
Appreciate everybody's time.
all right.
Do you have a response from Kyle? 2 holes by the courthouse will be repaired shortly. Left voicemail for state, we'll get back with them ASAP.
Okay, so,
So now you know.
yeah, the one by the
Right.
state road, we still don't know
Yes.
what's going on with it.
Right.
So there are blowholes out by the courthouse, does that include that mess in the corner there? Is that gonna repair that?
I think that's what it was about.
Sure it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the issue over there. Right.
Well,
That sounds incredibly simple for what we let it sit there and be a mess for.
well, at one point, the city was thinking they may have a black tile too, so,
I know, but it's been like that. We didn't have an answer, I don't know, 5 years ago, they couldn't tell where that tile went. I remember that distinctly, we couldn't trace it. It just ended, but it's gonna get fixed, that's good news.
all right. Moving on, maintenance supervisor reports. Who wants to go first?
Our new hire, Deanne, is working out real well. Doing a great job. We would like to, I would like to adjust her hours. She requested that instead of coming in at 5 a.m. and going until 9 a.m., she would like to come in at 3:30 to 7:30 p.m. That would line up with her evening job, so she could go straight from here to there. She has another one that she works about 4 hours a day in the evening. I personally, I don't think that would be a problem, because everything's still going to be done when we get here in the morning. So I mean, it's just what time of day we do it, and I think it would work out all right. So I just kind of wanted to throw that by everybody.
Would she be locking up the building then?
She would lock up the building then, yes.
So that would relieve
Yvonne,
Ivana
correct,
coming over.
correct.
Okay. I mean, I guess she works under you, you're the department head. Scheduling would be, I would say, your responsibility as long as the work gets done.
And that's kind of where I was going. I just want to run it past the committee that that's what we would like to do, that's what we want to do, so.
Now, would you inform her when meetings are going to be going on? Is that going to interrupt anything? If there's a meeting in the building that starts at 7?
No, I told her that sometimes there were meetings like that she hadn't been around that, so I don't think that would be an issue. Fridays would be a different deal because her hours on Friday at her other job is different. So she would come in at 12:30 to 3:30 p.m., which would work out well because that's the day that, you know, if we have any issues between myself and her or whatever, we'd be able to be eye to eye to be able to take care of anything that way. So I think that'll work out good too. And also what this does is her husband works afternoon shift. So they would basically be working the same hours and, you know, makes it more convenient, and I don't think it's going to change anything on our end.
I guess it's nice to be nice, but it's not our job to make sure her private life is...
Well, I understand that, but my point is 4 hours, I mean, if it's a consistent 4 hours each day, it shouldn't change anything in the building itself. And I agree. You know,
I guess we just don't want that to be a reason stated, because then that sets a precedent. And, you know, basically what we're concerned about is will scheduling her like that be beneficial to us? Or at least not
it's not going to
disadvantage to us.
Right, I don't think it would disadvantage us. And what happens right now, honestly, is I think in the end maybe it could advantage us because the way she's working her hours now, she's not 100% sometimes because she hasn't had any sleep that night before. Where this would make her more efficient, I believe, too.
You might want to, when you address it, consider saying something like, we'll do it on a trial basis, and if it doesn't work out, we have the option of going back to...
We've already discussed that. And I told her, I said, at this point, I told her, I said, I don't see a problem with it. We'll try it and see how it works. If it doesn't work out, we'll go back to what we were doing. So,
Okay, when does the offices close? 4:30?
4:30.
Yeah, John, before I forget, you there.
You asked a question before about her locking up. Does that mean that she's going to have a key to the building?
She would have to lock up.
Well, then
Does she have a key now?
strongly would veto that.
Well, she comes in at 5 o'clock now. She has keys to the building now to get in.
I don't like that idea.
Someone's got to open the door at 5:30.
Well, none of us have a key for the building, and there's probably a good reason for it.
I don't need it. But
There's times when I need a key for the building, I go in through 911, but point being that I think you're asking for trouble if you're handing keys out to the building.
Well, it's always done that way as far as I understand.
That was my question. Have the extra maintenance personnel always had keys? It's always been
You
that
have
way?
to.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do your job, you need keys.
Because she's going to have to open up doors that are, these other offices are probably locked.
Right.
I don't see why she shouldn't have keys, to be honest.
I don't either. She's
I
already
guess-
has the key and been using it, and the past employees have too, then there's been no problems.
If we don't trust an employee with the keys, then we don't want them as an employee.
I'm talking about the outside door, not these inside doors.
What are her hours now, 5 in the morning to,
5 to 9
and you're wanting to change them to,
to 3:30 to 7:30 in the afternoon. Currently, she comes in at 5 o'clock. She has the keys to all the offices in the building. She comes in at 5 o'clock. The offices don't open until 8:30 now. So, I mean, she's here for a half hour while the offices are open. If we do this, she'll be here for an hour while the offices are open, which would give more time to communicate between the offices and her if there's some need for something to be done or it's not getting done properly.
My question is not keys to the offices in the building. My question is the keys to the outside doors.
She already is opening the doors, because she gets in before you, right, Mike?
Yeah, she comes in at 5. She comes in, she doesn't unlock any outside doors. She just uses her key to get in. The outside doors are not unlocked until about 6:30. Between 6:30 and 7, I usually unlock them after I'm here. Then the outside doors are unlocked at that time. We do have some people that start coming in at 7:30.
Now, if she works the hours that you're saying, she really doesn't have a need for a key for those doors because you can always get out. You wouldn't have any reason to come back in.
There's one door that you do have the key, have a key to lock it up. That's the same key as the entry key, the health department door.
Oh, that door over on
Which requires keys to
right.
lock and unlock.
The main, her only need for a key is to get outside after she's finished working, isn't that correct? And that's the only time she has to leave the building. She comes in at 3:30, the building is open. She goes home at 7:30, the building is, all those outside doors are already locked.
Are you still going to have Yvonne then come over and lock it?
Because right now, she's getting paid to come and do that because it's after her hours.
Well, it's not
Or-
after her hours.
Okay,
This is what we
because
had
they
to
shifted
do.
it, yeah.
We had to change her hours, and it is, I've been concerned it's going to be a problem. She used to come after her hours. Well, that's 15 minutes of overtime every day that she was not getting paid for. So she complained about that, and in order to resolve the issue, she comes before her ending time, about 4:20 she gets over here and locks the doors. The doors to this building get locked between 4:20 and 4:25 every day. The building's supposed to be open until 4:30. We've never had anybody complain, but during tax payment time, I've been waiting for someone. It's a risk. So you would continue with that if you don't want Deanne to have the key. You would continue with that and still lock that door, and it is a bit of a risk.
And we still have Yvonne with a key.
Right, that's true.
Right.
So we can save us some money by doing it.
Well, and Clyde and I talked about that. You're not saving any money because it's all general fund money. We pay 10% of Yvonne's salary now to pay her to come lock this. But the management department or maintenance department is in the general fund, and the sheriff's department that pays Yvonne is in the general fund. So even though the maintenance department would stop paying that 10%, it just means the sheriff's going to pay it. It's all the general fund anyway.
It just comes off a different line.
Right. It's not going to save any money to the general fund in total.
What are her duties? What are her job duties specifically?
It's custodial. It's custodial.
My concerns on changing her hours, having hired and dealt with employees is twofold. One, I hate to leave an employee alone. The less time you have, not because you don't trust the employee, but the what ifs. It's been years ago, but I had a guy was big, overweight. He slipped and fell in a corridor, and if I hadn't been there, the guy would laid there all night. You know, so you got a person in a locked up building by themselves. I think you run a risk there. The other thing is, anytime I've ever made an exception for an employee, a month down the road, somebody else is going, well, you let so-and-so do it. And I think we could open a can of worm with other people too. Those are my concerns.
Right.
You know.
And that's why I made the point that we are doing it because it's advantageous to us, not her, is what we want to make sure. And as far as being alone, 911 is here, we could just make it a common practice for her to, as she's ready to leave, just tell somebody down there, okay, I'm locked up and going. And then if she doesn't report in some night, you know, they can say, okay, what happened? And maybe go looking for her.
And I think 911 comes down and uses the pop machine and different things. I know different times they're in the hallways here. I mean, that doesn't mean she couldn't fall in here or something, which is a concern. But she's already alone, and that half the time anyway, right?
Right, but she's alone before people get here, so it'd be a short period
As
of time.
opposed to when nobody's coming back. I understand.
Ms. This may not be the best time to be adding additional duties onto the 911 people.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not,
I don't think you
It
should
wouldn't be a
have always
duty.
anyway.
It wouldn't be a duty if she went down there and said, I'm leaving.
No. I
It
think,
is a duty if she doesn't do it, and then they have to come and find her or check on it. That's a...
Then you have to assume it's happening too.
Absolutely.
And in my experience, people are busy, they're doing their work, it wouldn't be happening. I just don't know it's a good idea myself.
The last employee that we had, Jeannie, when she was here, she had requested to do the same thing, and she actually talked to Kyle about it. She didn't even approach me about it, she approached Kyle first. Kyle said, he would discuss that with me. We did not get together on it. I did not pursue it with the last one because I was not confident in Jean being here by herself and the work getting performed the way it needed to be done. I'm very confident that the work would get done the way it needs to with this girl. She's above what Jean's was. So I don't have an issue with the work, and like I say, it was brought up in the past. I don't know. I just wanted to know.
As long as you're confident in her and you're a supervisor, I surely have no problem with it.
yeah, I mean, if something happens, it falls on you. Basically, I mean, you are the guy that's her boss, immediate boss, so I guess my feeling is that if you think it's in the best interest of the county to do this, then I mean, we know what the objections are, so those are the things you can watch for and try to plan for. So,
Well, I guess I'd just reiterate what I said before. It sounds to me like she has no need for a key to get into the out of the building. And I would think that key should be taken away.
Well, I think, I think he needs a key more than anything, to be honest with you.
To get in and out of the building?
I see, with Dan's point, if everybody slip and fall, I see that as, it could be a problem when you don't have two people here, but she's already here for a couple hours. So,
And then at night she's here.
I mean, I've heard of scenarios where somebody working in offices slip and fall and they're there all night, or
I worked with a
I
guy who
understand
had
what you're
his
saying on
desk
that
when
one,
we
and
left,
that-
and the next morning we found him laying across the desk dead
Yeah,
from
that-
massive heart attack.
That's what I'm saying, it's a good point, but as far as keys, I think if that's the way you want to go, that's fine with me, but that's the only thing to keep in the back of your head. But as far as keys standpoint, I think she needs a key.
What's the need of the key?
Once she forgets something, when she walks back out, she has to run back in to get her purse. or
Well,
something
and-
like that. Just
Clyde gets time off, and so somebody has to have a key. Unless you're going to make Clyde work every day all year long.
I don't know, I guess I'm missing something. I just don't understand the need for the key.
All right, what else you got, Clyde?
Carpet complete finance. Cooling tower's been drained down and it's ready for winter. Now this week we probably need a roof package in, but it's ready to go. The boilers have not, last couple of weeks we've had a cold weather, the boilers have not even hardly run. I don't see where they're gonna run very often. The number one boiler has been going into a lockout on a gas valve pressure. Had CNC here and look at it two different times. One time it was locked out on low pressure, one time it was locked out on high pressure. He seems to think that there's an issue with the boiler itself, that maybe it's got a bad valve or something like that in it. So he's contacted the supplier and trying to set something up. Come take a look at it, see what his option is. It's not really a concern because, like I said, they're not hardly running, so I think it's a concern because it needs to be repaired, but it's not a concern for operation, commuting, that type of thing. So we'll get that taken care of. Also, they're supposed to rotate where, one lead boiler at one time, next time, 24 hours later, or whatever we choose to set it up as. The next one would be a lead boiler. that's not happening, it's gotta be adjusted somewhere, since that was when I think that when the supplier comes to look at the gas valve problem, we'll have to look at that too. And we also received an invoice from him for the balance due. We had held back a certain amount until the job was complete, the punch list was done. The punch list has been done, and we received that invoice. Dee approached me from Public Health. She had put in her budget this past year to replace the flooring in the lab area, the reception area out there, and those couple of offices. She asked me about it, wanted me to take a look. I went and looked. I don't think it needs to be replaced. It just needs to be stripped and re-waxed. So she pursued looking for somebody to do that. There's a guy here in town, his name is Dale Whitson. He does do that. He came and looked at it, and he's going to do that for a price of $575 on November 14th and 15th. She set that up.
You're saying strip and re-wax?
Strip and re-wax, yes. The lab area at one time was an office area, I'm assuming, and there's a spot where there had been a desk and a chair, and the chair had rolling around, basically turned the floor black. And she thought, it needed to be replaced, but I went in there with a little stripper on a pad and scrubbed it up, and that's all it really needs.
I guess that's my question. Why are we not stripping and re-waxing, and why is she going outside? And I don't know that that's right or wrong. It's just a question.
The reason she's doing that is she said $7,000 in last year's budget to replace it. So she says, I've got the money in the budget to do it, so she wants to do it.
Well, and I talked to her about it some, and she said she thought the condition of the floor was, it can be cleaned up, but it was more than she expected you to have to do because of the condition of the floor.
Right.
And we looked at the bid, and I don't know if she got with you on it or not yet. When he submits his bill, have him put a note on it that says that it includes paying prevailing wage. There was nothing in the bid that specified that.
Okay.
So, it's all family members working for him. So, I don't know how the prevailing wage thing works, but we want it on the bill that says that prevailing wage was paid.
Okay, so you spoke to Dee about it, and so then what I'm asking you is, I'm reading anything out here, or?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
And in the future, anytime she puts a bid out, she's going to make sure it has on there that prevailing wage must be paid.
Okay. And he has set this up for the 14th and the 15th, which is a Saturday and Sunday. So I'll be coming in to unlock and let him in on that Saturday and Sunday so that he can take care of what he needs to do. He said that he would have it all stripped and waxed on Saturday, and then basically he comes back Sunday afternoon just to burnish it, to harden up the wax a little bit, so it lasts a little bit longer.
This might just be nitpicking, and I don't mean to, but Dee's right here in town, and it's her floor, and Clyde somebody explain to me why he needs to run down here to lock and unlock. Is there, just for your input, you'd like to see the work and oversee it, or?
Well, that too, I guess, but I just was under the impression that it would be my job to work with somebody to be able to get them.
He's the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
And that's where,
Okay,
in my opinion, any maintenance that needs to be done needs to go through him.
through him.
Because
Okay,
otherwise,
yeah, I know. I'm looking at
It wasn't,
things.
I guess it wasn't told to me that I needed to do that. I just assumed it was part of the big shop to do that.
Okay.
Metro Power was here last week or a week prior to the PM on the public health generator I was taking care of. I was out of the building for a few days, the week of the 19th, for doing that. Weber, I talked to Weber, and the heat pump number 6 is due into him on the 15th of November. So he is going to schedule work for that week of the 15th to get it done.
That doesn't leave us a lot of time.
I know, and that's what I told him. I said the work needs to be done and billed by November 25th. And so he said, yeah, they can do it.
Is that the deadline for November?
November 25th is the last day for claims for that month.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, regardless, as long as the work is done by the 30th, we can accrue it backwards or whatever we have to do, but it's got to be done. Work has to be done and by November 30th.
Well, I won't mind coming in on Thanksgiving weekend and
Yeah.
opening up for them.
Probably not. I'm not going to be going anywhere or anything, so.
I'd do it for you, Clyde, but I don't have a key.
We don't need keys.
All right.
I don't know.
The 911, NIDA brought to my attention that the security light on the pole on the southeast corner of the building was out. So I called P&D and contacted them. They came over with their bucket truck and got up there. And it's not just a bulb, it needs to be, have a ballast and starter kit put in. So he's ordered that. So as soon as that comes in, we'll have all our exterior security lights working again. Unless you want to talk about time right now, I think it's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda. We'll let Larry give his, and then if he's got to go, he can go. What you got?
I was asked last month about, getting the community hour people to help us do snow. There's a state statute, basically, we're not responsible to get hurt unless they're in the, I run over them with a truck or something, but if we do, and then negligent, we're not responsible. It is a state statute. I got this from Gordon in probation. I gave a copy to Anita, I think he put it in the file and gave one to the insurance. I don't know. But anyway, we're not responsible for this. They get hurt or slip or fall. So I talked to probation, and they said they can probably line us up with 2 or 3, possibly 4 people, which eventually will get down to 2 or 1 maybe. But they're good out of the gate, but they don't finish the race. So, but I think they got enough people that we can have a constant supply. And like I said, if they're in Waseca, I don't mind picking them up, as long as they're in Waseca. To give us a hand. So.
And maybe it'll be a nice winter and won't need to worry about it.
I talked to Anita and Clyde. Courthouse is looking like an orphanage, and it's in a contract, the mowing contract. They have a spring and fall cleanup, and I like to call them and tell them to start mulching leaves and picking up. We had some huge branches and sticks they need to, pick up before the season is over. And it's in the contract that they do a fall and spring cleanup. That's all right.
Yeah, it's in the contract, and it's probably time, well, I don't know, are most of the leaves off the trees?
The majority, I think it'd be fine, but I think if I call them, like today, then the nice weather, they can,
Right.
do a lot of damage over there. Clyde and I, we're going to, sometime this week, I'll get some salt for this winter. We're going to get a pallet, put it in the tool shed. I checked with Joe Moore, we just got to pick the truck and the salt shaker up, get everything ready to rock and roll.
That's for the salt for the parking lot, not
Correct.
sidewalks.
Correct. As far as this FYI on this boiler kicking out on low and high pressure gas, if you check back, I had the same problems with the ones I got over there. Went through changing out gas regulators to adding gas filters on the regulators to, I think they got it down to fluctuation in the gas supply. So it might be something that the gas company needs to get the pressure situated. And I don't think this gas line has ever been fixed. You know, we got what, 2 pounds, I don't know how many pounds we got coming in here, but over there we got a lot of frustration on the gas line, and we need to get the gas company to get a steady pressure of gas. That's why over there it's getting kicked out on low and high pressure. So it's just FYI for Clyde and you guys. Well, so did I. We did everything possible, regulators, filters, everything. And then Wild McLean said that we had to have the gas regulator 10 feet from the boiler, so we did that. The lady did all this free, so I give the lady a lot of credit. But whatever Wild McLean came up with, we've done, and it's still not working. So, out of 4 boilers over there, I still got 1 that does it. So,
In line with the gas, is it the first or the last?
mine's in the penthouse.
Okay, so it's not by the other ones necessarily?
I shouldn't say this because I'm going to regret it, but I have no problem in the jail with their boilers there. It's the ones in the penthouse. I got a 2-inch main going up there, and we've changed regulators. Well, they have 4 times now. So right now I'm down to 1 boiler. It's me, because I wanted to find out what was going on. So I shut 1 boiler in the penthouse off, and that's all I've been using this fall is the 1. And again, I shouldn't say it, but it's never kicked off. So when we get a hard weather, I'm going to kick the other one on and see if there's a cutoff. Right now I'm just running on 1, and I have no problem running 1. And if I kick the second one on and I start getting this high-low, it's definitely gas.
How old are those getting to be? I know they aren't terribly old, but
5, 6.
Mine more than that.
5, 6.
all right. Then we will move on to administrative building directory sign.
I'm trying to get this done yet this year. So I asked, we got this from 3 other people to put in the directory sign up to date. What they quoted 2 different ways. One was with reflective printing, one was with non-reflective. I don't know what that means, reflective. And the other one was Nordmeyer, and then another bit we had was some earthquake print. What Tika Sign and Nordmeyer are both talking about using, I can't remember what they call it, basically it's a piece of coated aluminum.
ACM. Aluminum composite material.
Yeah.
It's a very thin sheet of aluminum with a layer of plastic electrostatically bonded to it with another thin sheet of aluminum backing on it.
Is that a good thing?
Very durable, yeah, I use them on all the gas station canopies. It's a very durable product.
Okay. So they're talking about printing the new directory on that and then just screwing that over the top of what we have, just get attached to that. Signing I think the sign was at $1,820 to do that. That does not include installation or permit, if there's a permit to use for that. Northern Art Black Graphic was at about $900 to do that. Again, that does not include installation or permit as required. Iroquois Print's estimate is a little bit different in the fact that the sign needs to be leveled out, it needs to be redone. The teeth or sank one or the other on the front or the back. Iroquois Print price would include removing the sign, taking it back to their shop, and instead of using the aluminum, they would basically sand off the letters that are on there, refinish it with automotive grade paint and clear coat it, apply the lettering, change it however we need. Then they would bring it back and reinstall it, leveled out, anchored in a concrete base below the frost line so that it won't heave again. For that, we're looking at about $1,400. So that price, that $1,400 price includes the removal and the installation, where the other prices do not include installation, and the sign would be leveled out when it's done.
What's the sign made out of now?
The sign is all aluminum, so I mean it will last forever. We don't need to replace any parts. And she had left a cover letter. She says here that the signs you have now are great signs, being all aluminum, they will last for a long time. We do not feel that these should be replaced, which we weren't planning on replacing that anyway. What we estimated out for you is to take the existing signs, frame and post, and refinish them. It will be sanded down and repainted with automotive grade paint and clear coating. We have done many signs today, and after many years, they still look new and shiny. So, having been previous owners of the body shop, they're skilled in this type of refinish. And then she goes on to talk about how they would remove it, replace it, set it in concrete. She gave us two choices, putting it in concrete or just setting it in stone to reset it so that it will not heat again. My opinion, I think that's probably the one to go with because it includes the installation. The sign would be leveled out at that time too.
What's this cost?
$1,400.
Now, you have that in your budget yet, the $1,400? And right now, health department's not on it.
Correct. Health department is not on it, and ICANN is not on it. Champaign County Regional Planning is not on it. Some things that would be changed currently is on there is data processing. That, talking to Anita, that doesn't have to be on there anymore. Currently, we have supervisor of assessments and planning and zoning listed separately. I talked to Bob, and that could be changed as to one line, be changed to supervisor of assessments / zoning. Currently, we have county clerk / recorder on one line. So I talked to all the people involved and come up with a layout of how it would have to be done. Put scribbles on there that are mine for the changes. Hopefully we can get that out. One difference between what people sign and Iroquois Print, and you'll see it on that, is what Secret Sign talked about putting a county seal on there, or putting a county seal in one corner. It's not currently there, and that would have to be in color, so that would probably change a little bit of pricing of Iroquois Print if you decide to have them do it. But it's not currently on there at this point, so I don't know that. Well, Secret Sign's comment was it would just be a nice touch.
We don't have a good master of that, just so you know. I don't know where we get one, but I've tried to use that before. We tried to get it for our website, and they just couldn't clean it up, the copy that we have
Okay.
of our seal.
Complete the contract,
Oh, do they?
because that's where my flags, maybe.
We should probably get them one then. 'Cause, yeah, it's come up a couple times for me, trying to use it.
Just let everybody know I'll abstain if anything comes up on a vote, because I want to see the sign. The owners live across the street from me, they're my neighbors. Being in the sign industry by trade, I'll tell everybody, when you come to do a sign, the thing you want to look at is the vinyl they're using. I don't care who it is. You want to look at the mill thickness and UV rate. The UV deterioration is what's going to tear the sign up to where you have to replace it 5 years down the road. And Iroquois Print, when you said that, I either misunderstood you, but they are using vinyl graphics to redo the printing on the sign. So they're the same as the other two.
Yeah, the other ones for the non-reflective were the vinyl high performance. And,
That's a 3M product.
yeah, and Iroquois sign is quoted premium vinyl. So that would be, under my assumption, would be the same wiring as the other two for the non-reflective. Iroquois sign, non-reflective, had a 7-year rating, I believe.
It's got what?
7-year rating, I believe they said, for the high performance vinyl.
What about, Dan, what about, Iroquois Print? What about the automotive paint then? Is that the background, you put the vinyl on it and then they clear coat it off?
The way I read that, I mean, it doesn't really say. The way I read it, what they're planning on doing is they're gonna clean up and clear coat the board, per se, and then put the vinyl over the top of it.
So they're gonna use existing, whereas the others, we're gonna make a panel to put
Right.
over the top of it.
See, if you try to clear coat over vinyl decal, what it'll do is lift, they call it. Yeah.
I did call her and talk to her, and that's exactly what she's talking about doing, is because the letters that are on there are so difficult to get off, you can't just remove them, they have to be sanded off. So rather than apply that aluminum sheet, they'll sand them off, but then they'll use an automotive paint to repaint the board itself.
What do you think?
I don't think it matters much as far as, you know, the finish should hold up the same, well, not the same, but your graphics are only gonna be 7 to 10 years. A vinyl graphic, even the best 3M, you know, what is it, 35 mil, it's only gonna last 7 to 10 years. The board's irrelevant. So, I don't think it matters whether you repair the existing board or slap a new layer of ACM over it. The vinyl graphic is the question. Which vinyl graphic product you think is gonna hold up the longest versus what you're spending to get it?
That, and we gotta put it on you again.
Yeah, it needs to be taken off and redone, and that's included in the price of the equipment.
I'd almost be inclined to go with Iroquois Print just because they're leveling the sign but like I said, I'll abstain from any vote.
I'll make a motion that we accept the quote of Iroquois Print for the, to redo the sign at the administrative building.
Second.
Can you put the dollar amount in there?
Sure. Of $1,400. And you can add the wording if you want to remove and reinstall. You can put that all in motion.
I'm glad
Did
this
you
is gonna be a
second?
short meeting. I'm glad this is gonna be a short meeting.
Extreme sarcasm in there, wasn't there?
I'm not, I'm supposed to be in Winona right now.
We need a roll call.
Crow? Yes. Sure. Duhon?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Caspar?
Yes.
Joyce?
Abstain.
Barron?
Yes.
Question,
Yeah.
is that money is still in the budget? Do we need to wait till board meeting to get the final approval on that, or can I call her and have them listen?
I'd go ahead and go. It's already budgeted,
Okay.
so
Just waiting for all that.
my concern is that you're not going to get it done before November 30th,
Yeah.
and you don't have room in next year's budget to do it.
Back to it. I mean, technically, did we even need to vote on it?
No.
Is this a place where I can back up and ask a question?
If we feel the need.
Please don't, in other words. I think I forgot the question. The punch list is done, so I see it's on the claim to pay the balance of the bill. Are we going to talk about that when we get to claims? Because since we're still having a few issues, so...
So I guess we have boiler update on.
Oh, that's coming, okay.
The other thing is, you guys a statute to our insurance company about community service coming in and students know what it is that. I said, that's fine.
Oh, well, we're good.
They'll just make a note of it.
So we've got that clearly in the minutes, that that issue is resolved and we can, okay, good, good.
All right. Dean, courthouse issues.
Yes, ma'am. Clerk. The old courthouse building has been vandalized. There were 3 windows broken at 3 different times. We have gone ahead and ordered those up and contacted people to replace the glass. We just wanted that to be noted in the county minutes someplace, and they said that it should be here. Secondly, the chimney needs to be tuck pointed. We've had a lot of trouble with that. So they have scheduled to tuck point the chimney and cap it to try to get rid of some of the back problems. And they wanted that to be brought to the attention of some committee so that you knew what was happening to your building. I think the original lease says that the leasee will maintain the building, and we have been, but we just want you to know what we've been doing and what we're planning to do. So anytime you can help out any place, we appreciate the donations.
What was used to break the windows?
One of them was broken with a brick, the others I think were rocks. But it's strictly young people vandalism, I'm pretty sure.
And Jean, you shared with me the tuck pointing, you guys, did you say you got grant for that?
I think she's got a grant for part of it.
Part of it,
Yeah.
I know the grants aren't forever, but use
Yeah.
them whenever you can.
Yeah, we apply whenever we can. There's a couple of trusts that we apply to every year and usually get some money from them. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, boiler update. Now would be the time to ask your questions. Donna?
What?
Boiler update.
Oh, yeah. Well, are we going to pay the bill? I mean, are we happy, satisfied? If there's, I mean, you sort of updated it, you know.
There's certain things, it's all in the wrong. So, I'm satisfied with that. The fact that the gas off the issue, I think that falls under the
Ordered enough and measured it.
that needs to be taken care of. So, since I think you're talking 2 different deals there, one is the payment of the job and install, the other one is the warranty that things are supposed to work the way they're supposed to work. So,
The ongoing problem should be a warranty issue, which is separate.
So as far as pavement goes, I mean, that's what we...
Okay. Nobody else on boiler update? I don't know that we need to discuss the capital improvements at this point. Access to soccer field. Sam Martin owns the ground here. The soccer field is owned by him, used by the Park District. The Park District wants to purchase it. When the Park District purchases it, an access has to be provided because it's landlocked. His easement across our property is up by the railroad tracks, right across from where the drive goes to his building. He would like us to provide an easement across our property from our road coming in here out on the end of the trees for them to get there. So, right now, on weekends, our parking lot is full of cars from, where all, they say there's 200 kids play soccer out there. The insurance company says whether we give an easement or not, if they trip and fall on our parking lot, we're liable. So, I guess the option is give an easement, don't give an easement. Don't give an easement and tell them they can't park here anymore, or whatever other options you guys want. That's what we're being asked, is if we can provide an easement. Any opinions?
If you give an easement, I feel they're still gonna use our parking lot unless you put no parking there for signs all over for the weekend. They're still gonna use it.
Right.
They're gonna use it even if you put no parking signs.
Yeah. Well,
But that would cover us some.
and that's where, I don't know in the past if someone has given permission, because the tree line is ours. I assume the porta potties are theirs.
And they're on our property.
They're on our property.
So somebody, never mind.
It's funny.
So,
Yeah, it is.
you know, I guess we need,
Till that,
I don't know how soon they're wanting to make the transaction or what.
well, they don't care as long as they can keep doing like it is.
Well, the Park District wants to buy it,
By what?
to buy the soccer field. Right now, they're just using the ground. They do not own it.
Well, they can buy it without getting an easement.
No, it's landlocked. They have to get an easement someplace. They don't have to get it from us. He's asking us to provide the easement so that the easement doesn't have to come across our property where his is and all the way down.
But he's asking us to take on the liability of parking cars for their,
He's asking us to give the easement.
and that takes on the liability.
Well, we have
We
it,
have it anyway.
right, we have it anyway,
Yes, we do.
yes.
As long as they're parking here.
We are still liable.
For
Our
trespassing,
insurance
there's a
company
difference.
has already answered that question.
No one's told me that.
No, we called them and the insurance company said that we are liable whether we give the easement or not.
What are we
They-
supposed to do, put up a fence and take down the potty?
Well, actually, he told the story of a farmer who, some hunter trespassed on his property. He had no trespassing signs up. A hunter trespassed, was climbing a fence with his gun, shot himself in the foot, and the farmer was liable.
There's another one by my house, same thing, only it was the bank property, and the bank, or the, actually, hospital, sorry. Hospital got sued, IMH did. And the guy was not allowed to be out there, he was trespassing.
Right,
And
we
there-
have the liability anyway.
And there was another one in Milford where a guy fell out of a hunting blind and there was liability. And I remember a really big case in Danville that was all fenced in with the waterworks and kids got in there and the city was liable as well. I mean, it is the animal it is. You know, I would like to play nice with the community and the youth. You can't hardly get them out of the house to put down their daggone iPods or their tablets or get them off the TV. So if there's 200 kids in Watsika that want to play soccer, I would like for this county board to find a way to work with that. And I think we're all for the kids. I realize that we're liable anyway. You know, and then I go even to a bigger look. We have to balance a duty to the taxpayers. This is their building. But on the other hand, we have to protect them from extreme liability. So we have to find some balance, but I would like for the county board to find a way to support the youth.
You
I
haven't
don't-
found anything for the county, what you just said.
I'm not sure if it was when I was talking to Jim Devine or somebody else, but one thing that was brought up that we could do is, as a provision of giving the easement, we would be added as an also insured to their insurance.
Yeah, that would,
That would
Yeah,
work.
that's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
You know,
that would actually protect us more than we are protected now, even if we put a sign that says no parking.
Right. It's kind of a double coverage.
No matter where you can get sued, I mean, they can still go after us any.
they're going to go after the deepest pocket.
Right.
That's a good idea.
And in that event, they're going to name both the county and the park district. That's what they're going to do.
So, I mean, that's what's being asked. I don't know if you want to take action or not, or whatever. And I wasn't told, you know, if it's something that they need done right away or what. So,
Being additionally insured, I mean, I go through that on every job I go on. Doesn't change the liability legally. I mean,
but everybody wants it.
has
So there
absolutely.
has to be some reason that everybody wants it.
I send out probably 15, 20 certificates a month, you know. More than that, what I was looking at out there is I'd like, you know, if we went ahead and provided an easement, right now they've got paths cut all through there where they're going through their helter-skelter wherever they want. I'd like to see them do something to kind of clean that up and use one point of entry.
Well, one point of entry when you have that long of a parking lot.
Well, there's 2 soccer fields there in the end, I believe. It'd be hard to have one point of entry on 2 soccer fields.
It's got 3.
Is it 3?
There's 2 big ones and 1 small one.
Yeah.
Do you
I
park
don't
in the
think
lot
you
and
should
park
tell
in
them
the
they
trees?
can't. We won't do it.
What did you say, Dan? I'm sorry.
I don't think we can or should tell them they can't do it or can't use it. You know, I mean, with the kids, like you said, I mean, at least they're not sitting in front of a dang computer monitor.
As they, well,
What I think before we do anything, we need to clarify what kind of an easement they're asking for.
he would like an easement from our road across the end of the trees there and into there. And
That isn't what they'd be using. They're gonna go through the trees.
there has to be technically on file an easement.
Well, that's true, but I think you're right, it should be out there, not through us.
You know, and I think they're thinking coming off of our road to there, then they're just dealing with us. If they take an easement straight out to the road, then they're dealing with us and the city because it's an access point from the city street.
I don't want to see this hang around and linger forever. I'm going to make a motion that we grant the easement with the contingency that we are an additional insured on the Park District insurance policy.
is that the only thing we want out of this?
No. We
Okay.
need to clarify where we'd be willing to grant the easement.
The location, as described by Lyle, on that end.
That isn't what they're looking for.
Well, that's where he
That's what he asked for.
asked for the actual easement. I mean, are they ever gonna use it? Are they gonna put a drive there? Probably not.
So they should.
So they're still gonna use our parking lot regardless.
Because if they put a drive
Put a
there,
driveway all the way down on their side of the line.
you mean here? On here?
Keith or one?
One way or both ways.
Don, are you saying to the Park District insurance, where it is?
The top of the page is, if you see in the corner,
Stand
that's
by,
the railroad
I have
track
to amend my
there.
motion. If I said to her, stand by, if there's other things we want, I'll amend my motion.
Well, I'm just wondering if, when you're negotiating, that's the time to get
To
what you
get
want.
what you want.
And the trees are always a mess.
Here,
Do we want them to, as a part of it, to maintain the weeds and trees?
No, this is, there's an open path right here.
Yes, it is.
And that's the one
I
that...
thought you said.
I think I saw two places
This
where
is
they...
that
We
shoulder
were looking
where
at
I know there's
least
one,
two
but I
of
won't.
them, and
We
I
don't
think there's another one
I
further
think
down.
it's part of the other.
There's one right here.
Yeah.
Maybe one further.
This is Martin.
Just asking,
This is Martin.
Can you
Easement's here.
lease that whole
This is
side
us.
to the Park District, lease it for 25 years for $1. They mow it, they maintain it, it'd be cheaper when you hire out your mowing next year. It's still our property, but they lease it for $1 for 10 years, whatever, and they take care of that whole side, including the trees.
When you say the whole side,
Well, from our parking lot all the way to the railroad, because that's still in front of Martin's, so.
that'd be the one side, then we'd still have to mow the other
Correct,
side.
So I'm still confused. Is this city along our east side of that?
What now?
Is that the city along the east side of all of this? She says
That's
it's
the
Martin or
west side.
somebody or ours.
Okay,
This is
here's the railroad track.
Yeah.
The road is here. Martin's is here. This is Martin's field.
What
This
is
wants
is
this?
to know about-
This is ours, and it was part of the Clifton property.
And cannot be sold, correct, Ryan? Did we get an answer to that?
From what I read in the will, there is nothing that states that it can't be sold. It says that the ground was given to build a new administrative building, a new jail, and for whatever other public, civic, something, purposes. But I did not see anything that said it could not technically be sold. Jim Devine said that it would be a big hassle to sell it, which I don't know what all is involved in selling government property. I'm
Can
sure
we
it
lease
is
it?
big. That I do not know, that was not asked.
Why don't we just lease this to them?
Well, and I think that's
Well, you
what
just
Larry,
said.
that's what Larry was saying.
Yeah.
Lease the trees and this side of the road to them. But a lease is not permanent, a right-of-way is.
I know, I got it.
But it's a 100-year lease.
I don't like 100-year leases.
A lease does not take care of the fact that it has to have access because it's landlocked.
Correct.
Okay, one thing is, what happens if Park District decides to do something else in the soccer fields?
And that's,
Okay,
No.
because I do know there's talk about building something there. I don't think it's ever gonna go anywhere, but if we have an easement, I mean, won't they'll be using our, I'm just saying that, I'm for what you're saying, but I'm just saying, that could come down the pipe,
and that's something that, there's a reason why they're trying to buy it instead of just using it.
If they wanted to develop it further for like,
know.
whatever, a new swimming pool,
No, it would,
whatever.
it'd be for a rec center, that's what it'd be for.
Okay.
There's a government program out there, so it'll pay for it.
You know, maybe the lease issue with restrictions to a soccer field only is that something that should I withdraw my motion? Should we really explore
Do we
that?
want to have,
I don't think we're close enough to an answer in this
do we want to have
meeting
Mr.
to
Martin
anything.
and someone from the Park District come in and tell us what
That might
they
work.
want to do?
And our legal counsel here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he was going to try to make it today, but if he wasn't in court, so he must be in court.
Yeah,
I
that'd be a
wanna
good idea.
withdraw my motion, Amanda, and I like we probably do need to explore this. That lease option is something I'd like to know more about.
Said you didn't like.
I said I didn't like 100-year leases.
Well, how many years you want?
25 would be good.
Just long enough to get past you being around here, huh?
But I'm open to discussion. If somebody wants 10, if somebody wants, I don't know, we can discuss that issue. I'm flexible.
Okay. All right, so we will try to get them here for the December meeting, and that'll make for a nice Christmas meeting. Okay. Claims, any questions on the claims? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve claims.
Adam, second. All in favor? Or I guess we need roll call.
Crow,
Yes.
Sure. Oh, Zumwalt,
Yeah.
Alt,
Yes.
Caspergen,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Barry.
Yes. Is there any old business? Any new business? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I go to work now?
Aye.